Hello, Blitz fans of all ages. It's me, PlumCastle here, going over what just came out in Update 8.0 that dropped for World of Tanks Blitz this morning. So this is, of course, a very big update with the .0 that comes at the end of it. It is around Blitz's birthday now, and we have all been really excited for this update, and there are a few reasons why, so let's go over them. So first of all, there are more tanks coming into the game. We've got a new American Heavy branch, consisting of the Yos, that's Y-O-H, and there are 4 of them. So it starts with the Tier 7, which is quite easily the Mark 7 Yo. There's the Tier 8, which is the Mark 3 Yo. Then the Tier 9, which is the Mark 5 Yo, and that is the one that I'm actually hearing is probably going to be fairly overpowered. And then, of course, we have the M6 Yo, or the Mark 6 Yo, which is the Tier 10, which is also said to be very overpowered. Now, is a special feature of those. If you want me to go more in depth about these tanks, let me know down in the comments. However, for now, I'm just doing a brief overview of all that is taking place. So, of course, they advertise with these huge updates, higher graphics. If those who remember from last update, they added the shell hit marks as well as the tracks that you see on the ground. And now they're adding even more. They've got HD tanks as well. You can see on that rock there, the tracks will actually bend. It's called dynamic suspension, I believe, and it will actually shape itself to the terrain. So that is really cool. We've never had that before. It's always just been straight, but now we're actually starting to see some really nice HD stuff coming to the game, which personally I've wanted for so long. In fact, I've wanted HD tanks ever since I found out about Red Pro's HD tank mod, which, by the way, doesn't work anymore. And now we don't even need it because there's these tanks. Now, do note, not every tank has an HD model yet. From what I've heard, they are planning to do so. However, it seems to take quite a lot of work to turn these tanks into an HD model. So they're saying what their plan is to release the 4/5, which I'll get to in a minute, that are currently HD, and then they'll work on making the other tanks HD in future updates. So I don't know how quickly this is going to happen. My guess is you might see a couple tanks come in their HD models over the next few updates. Beyond that, we've got the PBR, which is physically based rendering. So on top of being HD, an HD model, it will actually pick up stuff from the terrain. So if you're on a desert map, you'll pick up sand. It's a summer map. I think they say you pick up mud, though I've seen my tank pick up dust as well, so that's really cool. And snow maps, you of course pick up snow. And the cool thing is, if you drive through water, not only does it make the tank wet, but it'll clear off all the debris that your tank has already driven through. So it's really cool. They put a lot of thought into there, and I'm really happy to see HD tanks. And then beyond that, we also have a slight change to the camo section. You can see here, they've added an exclamation mark to the camos that you have a certificate for, so you know instantly if you have a certificate compatible with that tank, which is really, really cool. A legendary camouflage called the Instigator was just added for the TVP T50/51. That's the Tier 10. This was added also fairly recently. However, I think these new tanks are going to be a little bit more sought after than these previous tanks, which is, I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just how it seems to be so far, because the matchmaker is literally full of Yos right now. So there have been a few balance changes. I'm not really going to go into these a whole lot. If you want to check these, you can find them in the game client. They're in the news section. It's just talking about the updates. So of course they've added some balances, changed some things, and I had been running across people were saying Smasher nerfed. So I went ahead and looked in here because I was trying to figure out what they meant by that, because I found it kind of difficult to. I wasn't quite sure that Wargaming would have really nerfed their Smasher. However, you can see here there was a bug with the AP shells where they didn't lose penetration over distance, which tanks should be. While these aren't exact values, imagine you have 100 millimeters of penetration, it travels 100 meters, and then all of a sudden it's only 90 millimeters. However, there seems to have been a bug where the Smasher kept its penetration at long distances, which I could see being a bit of a problem. Beyond that, mostly just bug fixes down in that part. And so now let's go check out the tank. Now, this is not a PBR model nor an HD model. You can see it is just a standard tank. However, if we go into settings and then go to graphics, we can actually toggle some things here. So first of all, tank quality, I've got it at ultra low for now, but you can see if I stick it on high, well, you'll see in a minute, I'll stick that on high, and I can also turn on the suspension. So if we look at it at the tank now, you're going to see quite a big difference. It looks way better. You can see now it's actually got a little bit of a more like what you would actually expect to see a real live tank looking like. And of course you can see here we've got the tracks will actually bend with each wheel so that it will look a little bit more realistic. And also, of course, there are the tanks that come after it. That was the Mark 7 Yo. We've again got the Mark 3 Yo, which looks like this. Let me know down in the comments below if you think this looks like a Conqueror, because that turret just looks so much like a Conqueror to me. But I don't know, it could just be me. So we've got the Mark 3, like I said, and then there's also the Mark 5, which is the one people are saying is going to be quite overpowered. I have a feeling quite a bit of the higher tier for this branch is going to be pretty decent to play. And of course we have the Mark 6 Yo. Now I have played my Mark 7 Yo in training rooms. I know other people, I kind of think of it as like a T-29 to be honest. But maybe a little bit better because I was playing it and it does look weird, sure. I mean, it even looks like it has eyes like a frog, which would be really cool wargaming. If you would put a frog camo for this, that would be kind of unique. But it seems to be a pretty solid tank. Of course, your frontal armor is not quite, it's not tremendous, it's not terrible. I would definitely say it's kind of like a T-29 in that sense, and wow, you can really see the difference from PBR to not PBR. So it is a pretty typical, for what I feel, a pretty typical Tier 7 heavy tank that you would get in the American line. So it feels like a T-29 to me. The alpha damage is great. It feels like a T-29 in some ways. Also, one thing to note is the cheeks are actually very bouncy, because I was in another one of these, face hugging another one in the training room, and along the cheeks, right beside the gun, it looked like you might be able to penetrate. However, when you shot a standard round into it, it ricocheted. So do be aware of that. And so that's all I have for now. And with that, I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, have fun, good luck, and happy tanking.